Hey, it's Jeff from Home Renovision DIY here today. We're talking about how to make money doing drywall. It's easy. It's a gig economy. It's something you can do in one day. In the world of drywall, there is a huge demand for people that would be available to do professional quality drywall repairs. And the fact is that most people don't like doing drywall. The concept of getting dirty and dusty and skills and tools, they just don't have nothing to do with it. Which means if you're like me and you love drywall, you can make a bloody fortune fixing other people's problems. And that's what we're here for. Because the economy's going to hell, but you don't have to. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to learn how to make about $1,000 or $2,000 a weekend fixing holes. So here's the deal. You can start a business almost anywhere in North America and you can fix a hole. It's going to be about $100 a hole because it's going to be more than one time that you pop by the house. We'll talk about rules of engagement of going in the house, but here's the basic process. You've got to go to the house, you got to patch the hole. Then you've got to do a second coat. And in a lot of cases, you're going to do a third coat, either because there's texture and you've got to really blend it in, or because it's uneven. You get into a corner and you've got drywall and built up of mud going to a corner bead. You can't just do that in 2 coats. You're going to need 3. These are 3 different trips. And as a drywall person, you're not painting. You're just doing the drywall. But it's not really repaired until it's primed. So that means you got 4 trips. That's awesome because you get to charge for every trip. So 1 hole in one guy's house is $50 a trip. You're there for 5 minutes each trip. Your job now is how do I find enough people with enough holes in the same neighborhood that I can line up 10 or 15 of those suckers a day. You can do 10 or 15 holes in the morning, 10 or 15 second coats in the afternoon, 10 or 15 third coats on the next morning. Then you can go to church if you need to. And then you can go back there in the afternoon and paint them all. Think about it. We're talking about $50 a hole, 15 holes a weekend. Last time I checked, that's almost $1,000. And you can do all this in about 3 or 4 hours a day if you do it all in one neighborhood. Now, $50 a hole, it sounds like too good of a deal. And it is, because you don't charge $50. You charge $50 a trip. It's $200 a hole. Now it just blew your mind. And you're thinking, there's no way people are going to pay me $200 to fix a drywall hole. Oh yeah? Think again. Because you know what? They're going to have more than one hole. They're going to have that hole, they're going to have this issue, they're going to have that issue, and then you can combine that into $600, you can give them a steal of a deal and charge them $450. The biggest part of this job is getting there. And it's important, because getting there means you got to have a vehicle, you got to have gas, you got to have insurance, you're going to do wear and tear, you're going to need maintenance. They got to pay for that. They're dragging your butt out there, they got to pay the bill. The other thing is this. It costs about $50 to buy a few drywall tools to be able to be proficient at this skill. And they're not going to buy those tools. They're not interested. So be the guy that shows up with tools and skills and maybe even a little bit of mud. Mix your own mud the way you like it. Don't just go to somebody's house and do a patch, put a fan on it, and then sit up front and have a smoke for an hour and a half waiting to do the next patch. That's how you make $200 a day. But if you can organize 10 or 12 people, that's how you make $2,000 a day. Now, rules of engagement. You're going to find these jobs, they're easy. We have a video for that. Sales and marketing, how to start up your company, all of that. Whole list, okay? Check the playlist down in the video description. When you get to their house, if you're going to do drywall, generally speaking, it's not messy until you sand. Depending on the homeowner, they're going to have different ideas. If you say, here's how I sand, I have a vacuum and a hand sander. Whatever I collect while I'm sanding and then the area that I'm working in plus the tarp should be enough for you to get by. But if you're taking on bigger jobs, if you're doing like somebody did a DIY front entrance and they did their own drywall and they're hiring you to do the taping, that's a different gig. If they want you to do a bigger job, consider managing their expectation with isolating the situation. You can use poles and plastic to isolate the room. You can do a fan in a window, create negative air pressure so that the dust doesn't go through the rest of the house. The number one thing you're going to get asked to do as soon as you say we do drywall is every homeowner in the world who's done their own drywall for their own basement, they can't find a taper. Because professional tapers are in high demand and they're not working for homeowners who do their own drywall who can't tape. And they can charge $6,000 to $7,000 for the service, but they won't do it because of this one fact. Most homeowners, traditionally we hang drywall horizontally. Let's call that a 4x8 sheet. And then there's 3 or 4 sheets on a wall. Most homeowners do this. They hang a sheet and then there's a bunch of scraps. By the time they get to the end of the basement, they're putting up every little piece they got left because they want to take that other 2 sheets of drywall back to Home Depot and get their $25 back. Every one of those joints is an extra butt joint. It's 4 coats, it's extra labor, it takes a lot of time, and if you're worried at all about your finish, you don't do that, guys. Most people charge by the square foot in drywall. But the fact is this, when you get a basement and you got a homeowner and they got to make that phone call and they found you, you're the last resort. If you have a basement that's at least 12 to 1,400 square feet, don't be afraid to charge $6,000 to $7,000 to do the taping, not materials included. That's a great place to start. And if you don't get the job, fine, but you're going to be surprised how many times you get that job. Now, as a gig economy, it's a pain in the butt, right? Because it takes pretty much all day to do 1 coat of mud in that basement, unless you've really developed your skills. So you're going to commit Saturday, Sunday for the next 2 or 3 weeks to get that just the way you want it. But here we are again, $7,000. Not bad for 2 or 3 weeks, huh? Make sure if you take a project like that, you live in a state where you're allowed. as a handyman in Alabama, for instance, you can do that. But you can't do that in California. You can't do that in Florida either. And most states require you to at least register your business with them if you're going to take projects over 1,000 or 2,500. But we got a list. All that information for you is on a website. We'll put that website in the link in the description. If you're in Canada, it's very similar. Whenever you're doing a business, check with your local authorities, okay? Compliance is the key to not getting thrown in jail. Now remember, the reason drywall is the most lucrative profession for a gig economy, because you drive to work and then you get paid big money. If everybody learned how to do this, you're out of business. But you know what? It's the one thing everybody loves to hate. So it's job security. If you're willing to invest the time to learn these skills, you can be amazing and have a great way to make money on the side. Now, and if you're loving this gig economy stuff and you're interested and you've got suggestions maybe, or you were like, hey, can you do a video about such and such? Let us know in the comment section. Now listen, drywall, it's less than $100 in tools, guys. Anybody can start this job. And if you need to get that $100 back on the first day, it is as simple as telling all your friends and neighbors that you're in the drywall business. If you have a social media account, use it. Everybody needs a drywall guy. You can do a couple of jobs for a little bit of money just to make sure that everybody's happy with you before you go full blown. Within 30 days, with some skills and some basic tools, you can take all the pressure off you and your family, and you can just gotta work. It's the season to work. It's the season for blood, sweat, and tears. If you wanna be part of that gang, you're my kind of people, and I'm here to help you. Cheers till next time.